Okay, so for this segment, I am going to be doing my brows. And I wanted to show you my brows so that you can get a little bit more in depth rather than from sitting in the class. So the first thing I like to do is take a spoolie, just a normal regular spoolie, and I brush my brows in the direction that they normally go. If I need to tweeze or take away any excess hair, this is the step where I would do that. And I've already highlighted and contoured, done my foundation. I like to do my foundation first. So then I like using the Revolution Pro pencil because it's very thin, it's very affordable, and comparable to the other brands out there on the market. And I use dark brown. It's important that when you're doing your brows that you make strokes. It's all in the wrist motion. We're not going to be drawing a brow because we want to see the hairs on the brow, how they naturally grow in. So that's how you create a natural looking brow. I like to, if you have a heavy hand, start towards the end. If you have more control over your hand and you're able to really control your motions, your flicks, then start at the beginning. Naturally, our brow has less hair in the front than it does at the end. So we do not want to put a lot of product at the beginning of the brow. And I'm only filling in sparse areas. Towards the end of my brow, I'm missing kind of a lot of hair. So I really got to take my time to fill that in. And as I'm going, I like to brush the product to mix it in with my brows so that you see hair and not product. You see how I've done very little and it's already taking shape? We're not creating Instagram brows. We're creating a beautiful, natural looking brow. And I'm not coming way down low. Your brow, the indentation in your nose is an indicator of where your brow should start. Then all I want to do is angle that, and that's an indicator of where it should stop. I've seen brows almost touch. I've seen brows go into the ear. That is not okay. And it's just short flicking motions. It's nothing fast because you want to be controlled in your movements. And it's okay if you mess up. It's important that you remember that your brows are sisters. They are never twins. However, you should be able to tell they're related. Now I'm still doing the flicking motions. Now I'm going to come in and brush that product in. And this also helps to take away excess product so it's just not sitting there on top of the skin. And it's important that you don't have a heavy hand. Light strokes are important. Makeup is easier to take away. Or I'm sorry, it's easier to add than it is to take away. So if I put on too much, it's going to be quite difficult for me to take that product away. So you can see how it's already began to take form. It has shape. You can see the hairs in my brow. And I always brush these forward in the front because that's the way they naturally grow. That's the way they naturally grow. So if I wanted to stop here, you know, with my brow, I could. But because I personally like a really defined brow, which in the cosmetics world, we call that an artistic brow, I am going to take my Correct and Conceal palette from MAC. And it's got different shades in it. I'm going to take the lighter color. And this is the step where you can really get in there and clean up any of your mistakes and really define that brow. I like to start here in the middle and slowly work my way out. But you see how that color is about maybe 2.5 shades lighter than my skin tone. I don't want it to be extra light. Then it becomes hard to blend. And you don't want to use too much product because then again it becomes too hard to blend. So I'm just really defining the tail end of that brow, and I'm going to drag the excess product down. And I'm using a thin brush. This is nothing fancy. It's by Urban Decay, just a thin concealer brush. I'm going to take a teeny bit more product and work my way to the beginning of the brow. Again, this is that step where you can clean up any mistakes that you may have made, so you don't have to be perfect. Perfect does not exist. But you want to try to be as precise as possible. So you see how I have that light layer of product? I'm going to grab that and bring it down so that it's well blended. Being careful not to mess up the clean line that I just made. And you always want to work your way out and not in. So if we wanted to stop there, we could. We have a nice defined, natural looking brow, but because it's me, I'm not putting any more product on my concealer brush. I'm going to take the excess product, and I'm sure you all have seen people out there that have a halo above their brow. They're putting way too much product on. You don't need product. The brow is stiff and will clean up and do what you need it to do. So I'm going to take that and define even more. This is just an extra step. It's nothing that you have to do. But again, because it's me, this is what I like. And then after all is said and done, I take a clear brow gel. Any brand works. Well, I don't want to say that. I've tried MAC, I've tried Chanel, and I always go back to NYX. I love it because it really helps my brow stay in place all day. And I just brush that on my brow, remembering not to put too much product on the brow. And there you have it, a nice, natural looking, beautiful brow.